welcome back. I have a very different sort of festive card to show you today. It uses some craft card and it's a shaker card. But we'll show you all the little steps there. There's a couple little tricks that I've done that I think are really, really good to see in a video. You can kind of understand them a little easier. So that will be a perfect thing for today's video. Walk you through the items we'll be using. We've got quite a few dies on this one. I'm using the Merry Christmas trim for our sentiment. The inside of the shaker card is the Cottage snow globe scene. However, we're not using it with the snow globe, but you can see how you can use it. The pine twig as a little bit of an accent, along with the berry sprig. We're going to use a floral element from the Poinsettia editions, just the solid versions this time, not the outlines. And I'm going to show you the Christmas cottage scenes, how you can do them side by side. They've been designed to layer up on top of each other, but you can also use them side by side. And the Starry Night Sky background. Now this is a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch size die, but I wanted to do something a little wider with it, so I'll show you how that works. And we're going to use the double pierced circle noble dies to surround our shaker card part of the card there. So that is all the dies that we'll be using. And let me show you a couple other little elements that we'll also use in the card. We have our new Snow White micro beads, and this is what we're going to put into our shaker card. And these are lovely. They look just like snow. And I'm going to use a strip of the striped GROSGRAIN. This is the black and ivory across the middle to kind of hide our joins. Okay. Pop those aside. Now, I've started on the craft card and I've used the Starry Night and I've cut one of them. However, what I did was as I put it into place, I taped it into place up in this very top corner, right even with the edge. When I got right about here, I stopped. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want a line from the edge of the metal going down the center of my card. And I wanted that Starry Night to extend, so I'm going to turn it upside down. And I'm going to just sort of line it up here, and that moon is going to go off the page now, okay? So we will tape that into place and extend that background. There we go. And there again, I'm going to just try to roll it up right to the edge and not clunk over that edge to make that line appear. There will be, however, a couple little spots where your stars may not cut all the way through, so you might have to hand cut them. But it does make a nice extension on the background. So right, just sort of watch it. You can kind of feel it. I think I've gotten it just about as far as I can go. Bring it back over and let's see how it looks. Got maybe just a tiny little void in the middle, but you can hand cut a few, or we've got little bits that we can pop out right here. And you can also add in a couple little extra piercings to kind of fill that area in. I didn't go quite far enough, but you can get the idea. Now I have done one ahead of time, so I went ahead and matted and layered it. And there's just a little bit of a lighter spot in there. Like I said, you can add some piercing with your pokey tool on that, and that will blend in really nicely. But what we're going to do is add our cottages above that, so it shouldn't even matter. So I'm going to go to that next. Let's bring in a piece of black card here. And you have two cottages. One of them has little deer, and that is what I'm going to hang off this side. And I'm going to put the trees and whatnot onto this side, so they go right up next to each other. And let's tape that into place. There we go. In fact, let's just line that up so there's a nice little edge. Now the bottom part holds this die in place, but it doesn't cut, okay? So you shouldn't see any sort of line from that. We'll just pop this in right here. Put that onto our cutting plate, run it through. Okay. And undo our tape. Oop, get under there. Take that off. Pop this one into place, and we'll just nip the edges. so that we have the top free. And my scissors, there they are. Just a little bit here and a little bit there. And then right between the two, cut that off. So you have a nice little seam going all the way across now. So I'm going to pop this down, and I think I will just use a little bit of tape on this. There we go. I'm going to tape that into place so it just goes to the edge right about like that. So you've got the little stars that appear coming from behind it. And now I'm going to use the GROSGRAIN ribbon across the top of that. Okay, so pop that down and tape the back, the ends to the back here. There we go. Let me just make sure I've got that centered where I want it. That looks pretty good. Okay. And the other thing I did was I did go ahead and cut those tiny little deer. So with a tiny bit of glue, I'm just going to slip those in so that they appear to come up from the edge there, right in front of our house. So it's just a nice little accent. Okay, so I can bring in our base piece and we can sort that. I've used the KRAFTCARD and the black again to create an edge underneath my piercing. So I'll bring in those same colors, pop that into place. And I'll give you a quick measurement on the overall size of this. There we go. This piece from top to bottom is 6 3/4, and it is 6.5 inches wide. So just so you have a general idea. Okay, so now we're going to work on to our shaker card part of this. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut this ahead of time for you, and I've done the little cottage scene in the KRAFTCARD, and I've cut and backed it with a black. And that die comes with the inner cut piece, so you can cut that out, and then the outer edge, so you can back it with a different color. So it's really handy like that. And then I went ahead and cut my frame out of the circles, and I added a bit of acetate to that and some mounting foam. Now, I have been making shaker cards for a lot of years, and I always used to put this directly over the top when I was doing them, and I have recently found that it's really easy if you kind of do a little bit of a cheat. So let me show you. I'm going to fill it a little bit with the micro beads, and I think I'll just use a little spoon here. Just going to pour in a tiny bit, and I have to admit I tend to always put too much of these, so I'm just going to go easy. And I've got the mounting foam around the top. I'm going to put another piece of acetate over that and seal those in, okay? And then I trim away the extra bit there. And I found that it's just easier than worrying about spilling those beads or whatever you put into your shaker card, ice, snow, sequins, you name it. You can put anything in there. Okay, so now all your micro beads are actually encapsulated inside of that acetate. So I've gone ahead and added that backing piece onto a little bit larger of a piece so I can center it over that. So let's move those out of our way. Add a little bit of glue to this, just around the edge where the foam is. That should not show over that. Pop that right over our background image and give that a second to set up. Oops, moved it. There we go. I'm going to trim away the extra bit. Okay. So now you can see all your little shaker bits, and it does look like snow. It's quite cute like that. So bring back our backing piece, and let's put some mounting foam on the back of this. There we go. Peel the backing off, and I'm going to put that, get my guy straight there, and put that right in the center of my ribbon. And I'm going to accessorize with some of the flowers. So I've done a couple of the poinsettias, the solid pieces there, and some glue dots. We'll put those into place with that. So I've got a larger one here that I'll put down to the bottom, just off to the edge there. And the smaller one, kind of pop that right up above there, poking out a little bit. I've got some twigs and sprigs I've done in black and white. Let's bring those up, and we'll just add a bit of glue and we can work these around. The nice thing about these is you can trim them if you want them a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, whatever size works for your project. So pop that into place. And one of the twigs, let's have that coming out from underneath there. And you've got one going kind of a curve off to both different directions here, so you can tuck them in where you need them. And let's do this one. In fact, let's shorten that one up a tiny bit. Pop that on there, coming out from underneath that flower. And a little bit off the bottom here. Oops. Get off of there. Coming out from underneath the bottom part, just filling in these areas really nicely, I think. Tiny little guy here. Coming off that way. And now we're going to use the trim. Now this is an interesting die, so I want to show it to you. Give you a quick cut. I've just cut a little piece of black card right here. Just line this up with the bottom. Tape it into place. Oops, stay. Give it a quick cut. You should get both a positive and a negative out of this. So I think it's fun. It gives you a couple different options of things you can do with it. You can cut it right off the top of your card, or you can do what I'm going to do here and make it a freestanding piece. So I'm just going to nip that. Just cuts on the top and the very side, so that is just the bottom of that card piece that I have. So I've got this piece that's I'm able to line that. So what I'm going to do is bring in a piece of white card. We'll give it a quick spray, and we'll put that white card behind this, and it just makes the Christmas part of that pop ever so nicely. Get that all centered in there. So I've got the Merry free, and the Christmas is lined, a little bit of mounting foam on the back of that. And we're going to pop that right up in the sky there. And that will tend to hide some of that little void area as well, too. There you go. Quick and easy, isn't that nice? I think it's really different. Plus you have that beautiful shaker element with those white microbeads, and it just looks like snow. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Be sure to check our YouTube channel for all the other videos we have for you, and don't forget to subscribe to it.